Have you ever heard of narcolepsy? Don't worry, most people haven't, and even I hadn't up until about a year ago. The closest I got were those fainting goat videos that went viral. You know, those cute little goats that pass out if you scare them? Yeah, that was about as far as my knowledge went. My name is Christy, and I was recently diagnosed with narcolepsy. It was a long, sometimes scary, and sometimes confusing journey for me to get where I am today. So I want to share my journey with the world to raise awareness of the condition. So here it is, my story. I was always healthy as a kid, which made sense since you're not really born with narcolepsy, and I don't think I ever passed out once when I was little. Oh yeah, that's what narcolepsy is. Being so tired that you just pass out or faint for no reason, multiple times a day. But there are other symptoms too, like your muscles getting weak or getting hallucinations and weird dreams. But none of that happened to me growing up. I was active and athletic, and I loved hanging out with friends and climbing trees. So I guess I'm really glad I didn't ever pass out, because I could have really hurt myself. The first time it happened, I was a freshman in high school. Still active, still playing sports, but also spending a lot of time studying and hanging out with friends. In fact, it was when I was talking to a group of my friends, and a boy I had a crush on, in the hallway when suddenly I just collapsed. It was like all my muscles just gave way, and I was this unconscious heap on the floor. Apparently, it looked like I was asleep. I was totally unresponsive to them tapping me, or yelling my name, except I was still breathing. It freaked everyone out, and then I had to spend the day in the nurse's office drinking juice and lying down. That part wasn't so bad. I thought I'd just fainted. It was a hot day, and I know sometimes that happens to people. But then, not even a week later, it happened again and again. So now I'm not just collapsing, but I'm getting bruised, scraped, and spending a ton of time in the nurse's office. My mom took me to see the doctors, but they thought it was fainting too. I had to go and have some blood tests done to see if maybe it was low iron or low B vitamins that was making me faint. But nope, the blood tests were all fine. Things just kept getting worse. And then the fainting happened more and more often. Pretty soon it was happening like 5 times a day. It was embarrassing because everyone at school was starting to talk about that girl who faints. But it was also really scary because I could never really tell when it was going to happen. Sometimes I would fall onto a concrete floor. Sometimes I would hit something on the way down. I was scared it might happen when I was crossing the street and I'd get hit by a car. Same old story. Tried to go back to school, fainted. Tried to play sports, fainted. My mom ended up keeping me home from school and taking me back to the doctor, who referred me to a specialist who might know more about what was going on. At this point, I was so fed up with it that I was willing to try literally anything. And I was scared that no one would figure out what was going on, and I would just spend my whole life passing out all the time. When we got to the new doctor's office, I just had a good feeling about her. She gave off a really calm and knowledgeable vibe, and started asking me questions that my normal doctor hadn't. "How are you sleeping?" she asked. "Are you having any weird dreams? Do you feel like anything strange ever happens to your muscles?" I hadn't thought any of those things were connected, but when I thought about it, ever since the fainting started, I did feel like super tired all the time. And I was having these crazy dreams where it felt like my body was paralyzed, and I couldn't wake up even though I knew I was dreaming. I showed her all the scrapes and bruises I had from falling down all the time, and she made sure I'd never hit my head really hard or might have a concussion. At the end of the question, she told me she thought I might have something called narcolepsy, where you fall asleep at random times, but that I was going to have to do a sleep study to make sure. So we made an appointment to do a sleep test at a special facility. I had to wait a week because it was really busy, so my mom just kept me home from school. I was exhausted. I felt like I'd been hit by a bus from all the falling. So I spent most of those days napping or watching Netflix in bed. The day of the sleep study finally arrived. I was weirdly nervous, mostly because I didn't know what to expect. But like I said, I was willing to do anything. We got to the sleep study place in the evening. They hooked me up to all these wires and I went to sleep just like normal. They wanted me to sleep from 10 till 8 in the morning. They were monitoring my muscles, my brain waves, and a bunch of other stuff. The next day, I had to take a bunch of naps so they could see how long it took me to fall asleep. Then they looked at all the results of what my brain waves looked like during the different sleep sessions, and that confirmed it. I was officially diagnosed with narcolepsy. It was a scary diagnosis, sure, but it was also a relief. I finally knew what was wrong with me. My mom and I were both so relieved that we cried, and the doctors made a treatment plan for me. There isn't a cure for narcolepsy, but there are ways to make it so that you can live a normal life. I started taking daily medication that stopped me from randomly falling asleep so much, and we set it up with the school so that I could take a nap at lunchtime every day. That's a really common treatment for people with narcolepsy. When I got home from school, I'd take another short nap, then do my homework and stuff, and sleep for a normal amount of time at night. I couldn't shake my reputation as the girl who randomly passes out, though mostly because it still happens every once in a while, usually if I've slept badly the night before. Because of my narcolepsy, I can't get my driver's license, but I'm hoping we can get it under control in the future so I can learn to drive. Even though people sometimes think I'm weird because I have narcolepsy, it doesn't really bother me, because my friends and family totally understand. And oh yeah, the cute guy I was talking to the first time I passed out actually wasn't weirded out. In fact, we started dating a little while ago and he totally understands that I need to take a couple of naps during the day. On weekends when we're hanging out, sometimes he'll even take a nap with me, which is awesome. Do you have a condition that nobody really knows about? Maybe some of you even have narcolepsy, like me. I know it's easy to feel like you're alone and nobody else is going through the same thing as you. But remember that there are actually groups of people with the same thing as you. Talk to your family first. Maybe find a support community online, or ask your doctor what resources are available. Help is always out there. So that's the story of my narcolepsy. I hope that you found it interesting. Let me know if you have any similar experiences in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel if you can so that we can share more stories like these. Thanks a lot, and see you guys next time.
Hey guys, it's Sarah here from My Crazy Story. Thanks for watching this episode. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a new video. Oh, and if you haven't watched them yet, check out these other episodes that are trending right now. Thanks a lot and see you guys next time.